The Mauryan Empire. Invasion of Alexander. Alexander invaded India in about 326 BC. At that time, northwestern India was divided into monarchies and republics, each in conflict with the other. King Ambhi of Takshila sided with Alexander against King Porus, a Hindu king of the Pauravas. Porus was defeated and taken as prisoner. When asked by Alexander how he, Alexander, should treat him, Porus boldly replied, as king treat a king. This impressed Alexander and he returned Porus's territory and thus won over an enemy. During Alexander's invasion, the mighty Magad Empire was ruled by Dhanananda of the Nanda dynasty. Magad, with its capital at Patliputra, had a large and powerful army. Legends tell us that initially Alexander's soldiers refused to cross the Beas and face this mighty Magadha army. Moreover, they were tired of fighting continuous wars. Alexander, seeing the unwillingness of his men, agreed and turned back. Alexander's invasions helped in the construction of Indian history, as the date of his invasion is definite. Scholars and traders accompanied Alexander. Later, Megasthenes came to India and lived in the court of Chandragupta. In his book Indica, he has given a detailed description of the Mauryan administration and Indian society. Effects of the invasion of Alexander. A. It marked the beginning of the chronological reconstruction of ancient Indian history. B. Small states in the northwest India lost their power and paved the way for the rise of the Mauryan Empire. C. Alexander's invasions led to political unity among the Indian rulers. D. It brought India in close contact with European countries. E. New trade routes with the European countries opened up. The Mauryan Empire, 322 to 185 BC, originated from the Magadha Empire in the Indo-Gangetic plains of modern-day Bihar, eastern Uttar Pradesh and Bengal. Its capital was Patliputra, modern-day Patna. It was the first major empire in the history of India. The following are the most certain, undisputed and authentic sources of information regarding the Mauryan Empire. Literary sources: Puranas, Kautilya's Arthashastra, Vishakadatta's Mudra Rakshasa, Patanjali's Mahavasya, and Kalhana's Rajatarangini and Buddhist and Jaina texts. B. Travelers' accounts like Megasthenes' Indica. C. Archaeological sources like caves, rocks and pillar edicts, stupas and viharas. Establishment of the Mauryan Empire. Chandragupta Maurya established the Mauryan dynasty in 321 BC when he took over the throne of Magadha from Dhanananda, the Nanda king. He was helped in this by the mentor Vishnugupta, also called Chanakya. During his rule, he unified small and fragmented kingdoms of India into a single large empire. His empire extended from Assam in the east to Afghanistan in the west and the Himalayas in the north to the Deccan Plateau. Patliputra was the capital of the Mauryan Empire. Conquests of Chandragupta Maurya. After the death of Alexander in 323 BC, his generals divided his empire among themselves. By 316 BC, Chandragupta defeated all these territories and incorporated Central Asia into his empire. In 305 BC, his encounter with Seleucus, Greek governor appointed by Alexander, ended with a peace treaty. Seleucus handed over the areas west of Indus, including Balochistan and Afghanistan, to Chandragupta along with his daughter Helena in marriage. Chandragupta now moved towards south, conquering east coast. His empire extended from Assam in the east to Afghanistan in the west and the Himalayas in the north to the Deccan Plateau in the south. During the time of Alexander, Chandragupta met Chanakya, who helped him found the Mauryan dynasty. In 298 BC, Chandragupta renounced his rule, handing his vast empire to his son Bindusara and embraced Jainism. Bindusara, 298 to 273 BC. Bindusara is supposed to have extended the Mauryan Empire up to Mysore and managed to retain the territories inherited from Chandragupta. He is said to have maintained friendly diplomatic relations with Greece, Egypt, and Syria. He also successfully suppressed the revolt in Takshala and consolidated his authority. He ruled for 25 years and died in 273 BC. Ashoka, 268 to 232 BC. Ashoka, also known as Ashoka the Great, was the third ruler of the Mauryan Empire and one of the greatest emperors of India, who ruled over almost the entire Indian subcontinent. Born in 304 BC, he was considered as an energetic, strong, and fearless military leader. At a very young age, he was successful in curbing the revolts in Avanti, Ujjain, and Takshala. Extent of his kingdom. Though he ascended the throne in 272 BC, Ashoka had to wait for 4 years for his official coronation in 268 BC. During the first 10 years of his reign, Ashoka was constantly expanding the Mauryan Empire across the Indian subcontinent, including the present-day Iran and Afghanistan in the west and Bangladesh and Myanmar in the east. Ashoka assumed the title of Devanam-priya, beloved of gods, and Priyadasi, the good-looking or handsome one. Kalinga War, 261 BC. During the expansion of the Mauryan Empire, Ashoka led a war against the feudal state of Kalinga, present-day Odisha, with the aim of its annexation, the same action that his grandfather attempted to do. Seeing the horrors and destruction of the Kalinga War, Ashoka vowed never to fight again. He issued an edict expressing his regret for the sufferings he brought on Kalinga. He decided to give up the policy of Digvijaya, conquering world, and adopted Dhamma Vijaya, conquest through Dhamma. He was so influenced by the teachings of Buddha that he embraced Buddhism and made it his state religion. He devoted all his time in the service of humanity and the spread of Buddhism. Welfare state of Ashoka. Various humanitarian works were taken up to make the lives of the people better and happier. He had dug wells, constructed roads, and built hospitals for both men and animals. Ashoka tried to make the lives of his people better and create harmony between the different groups in his large empire. Ashoka's Dhamma and edicts. Ashoka had faith in Buddhism. At the same time, he believed in religious tolerance. What he preached was basically the good principles of all religions. Principles of morality or simple virtues are compressed into Ashoka's Dhamma. Ashoka intended to preach a practical approach towards Dhamma, which included the following. A. Susrusa, respect and obedience to elders including parents and teachers. B. Sampratipati, proper treatment to Brahmins, relatives, slaves, dependents, poor and friends. C. Dinam, liberality towards all. D. Amarambho prananam, abstention from killing. E. Avihimsa bhutana, non-injury to all creatures. F. Satyam, truthfulness. G. Dhammarati, attachment to morality. H.
Bhavasuddhi, purity of heart.
I. Religious tolerance. J. Lead simple and peaceful life. K. Reject wasteful ceremonies. L. Adopt charity, money to poor, knowledge to the illiterate. Measures to spread dharma. A. Ashoka himself set an example by living according to these principles of Dhamma. B. These principles were engraved on pillars, rocks and in caves so that maximum number of people should be able to read them. The publicity of these principles helped spread Ashoka's Dhamma. C.
Special officers called Dharma Mahamatyas were appointed.
Their work included improving the moral life of the people. D. He encouraged his officers to go on regular tours and explain these principles to the people. He even sent missionaries to Egypt, Syria and Sri Lanka to spread his dharma. E. He himself visited the holy places associated with Buddhism. Edicts. Ashoka was the first king who made an attempt to communicate directly with his people by getting the edicts inscribed on rocks, pillars and caves. These were written in Prakrit language, but Aramaic, Greek, Kharoshthi and Brahmi scripts were also used to write them. Much of the information we have on Ashoka is from the edicts. These inscriptions also help us to know the extent of his empire, Ashoka's personal religion, his dharma, policy of tolerance and his administration among other things, etc. Pillars. Each of the pillars had a base, a shaft and a capital. The shaft was monolithic or made up of one piece stone. These pillars have been found among other places in Sanchi, Allahabad and Sarnath. Ashoka had a pillar installed in the Deer Park, Sarnath, where Buddha gave his first sermon. The pillar is known as the Sarnath pillar. The lion capital of the pillar has been carved out of a single block of stone. At the bottom, it looks like an inverted lotus. Over it is a round slab with sculptures of an elephant, a horse, a bull, and a lion. Each figure is separated by dharma chakras or wheels. These wheels depict the spread of Buddha's ideas in all four directions. The capital of the Sarnath pillar has been adopted as the national emblem of our country, and the wheel or dharma chakra is on our national flag, representing progress and motion. The figure of the four lines that appears on the Indian currency and also on important government documents is taken from the Sarnath pillar. Mauryan administration. The Mauryan Empire ushered in a centralized government which united people and tribes. The king. The Mauryan king did not claim any divine origin, yet he was considered as the representative of the god and called Devanamapriya, beloved of the god. The king was the source and center of all authority, head of administration, law and justice, and supreme judge. He himself selected his ministers, appointed officials, and controlled their activities.
Kautilya said, administration cannot be the work of one man, just as one wheel cannot drive a vehicle.
Mantri Parishad. The king was assisted by his council of ministers called Mantri Parishad, headed by Mantri Parishada Dhyaksha. Civil servants called Adhyakshas or Amatyas also came under him. Every department had its Adhyaksh, like Accountant General, Akalapadhyaksh, Royal Treasury, Sannidhata, Armory, Ayudh Grihadhyaksh, Weights and Measurements, Potavadhyaksh, Sita Adhyaksh. Provincial administration. The Mauryan Empire was divided into 5 provinces administered by a prince or a member of the royal family. The provinces were further divided into districts. District administration. Pradeshika headed the district and he was assisted by Yuktas and Rajukas. These officials performed many duties like measured land, collected taxes, etc. Districts were divided into villages. Village administration. The village was the smallest unit of polity and was called Gram. It was headed by the Gramika elected by villagers. Gramika settled disputes of his village through Gram Panchayats. Army. The Mauryan army was the largest and the strongest of all of the ancient Indian kingdoms. It included 6 lakh infantry, 30,000 cavalry, 9,000 elephants and 1,000 chariots along with other war and transport equipments. It came under the War Council, divided into 6 sub-councils, each having 5 members. Census. There was a system of census which registered deaths and births. Nagarika was the census officer. Crimes and judiciary. Dharmeshtya, civil courts and Kantaka Shodhana criminal courts dispensed justice. Death sentences were common. Agriculture. Sita Dhaksha headed the agricultural department. There were proper agreements for irrigation. Wheat, pulses, saffron, mustard, linseed, sesame, etc. were grown. Public health. Treatment was universally free. Bheshajas, doctors, had a team of midwives, nurses, etc. Food adulteration was a punishable offense, inviting a death sentence. Spy system. Spies were appointed by the Mauryan king to bring in the secret information about different officials and people. These included soldiers, householders, merchants, etc. Ambassadors in foreign countries also acted as spies. Society. Mauryan society included people speaking different languages and having different traditional values. People followed different professions based on their caste. Caste system was rigid. Art and architecture. Art and architecture flourished to a great extent under the Mauryan. Mauryan architecture can be broadly classified into stupas, pillars, caves, and palaces. Most of these were built by Ashoka. Stupas were solid domes constructed of bricks and stones of varying sizes. Ashoka rebuilt and enlarged old stupas. Sanchi Stupa in present-day Madhya Pradesh is the best example. Pillars erected by Ashoka provide us with the finest specimen of Mauryan art. Their tops were crowned with the figures of lion, elephant and bull. Among all, the Sarnath pillar with 4 lines standing back to back is the most significant. It has been adopted as the national emblem by the Indian government with slight modifications. Rock-cut caves meant for monks' residence are a wonderful piece of art. Caves at Barabar Hill in North Gaya, Nagarjuni Hill Caves and Sudama Caves speak of excellence in rock cutting. Mauryan palaces were decorated with pillars having intricate designs of vines and birds.
Fayan, a Chinese traveler, visited the place after 600 years and was deeply impressed with its grandeur and explained that no human hands of this world could accomplish this.
Apart from this, several stone sculptures have been found near Patna, Mathura and other places.
They represent Yaksha and Yakshis, the deities.
Economy. Agriculture, trade and commerce and industries gave great impetus to Mauryan economy. Land tax was the main source of income of the kingdom.
Taxes were of 2 types.
Bali, religious tribute, and Baga, part of produce. It was 1/6 to 1/4 of the total produce. Mauryas had trade relations with foreign countries through land and sea. Indigo, cotton, and silk were exported. Decline of the Mauryas. The following are the reasons for the downfall of the Mauryas. A. Ashoka's empire was very vast. In those days, communication was not easy, so it was difficult to control a large empire. B. Ashoka's successors were not strong enough to control the empire. C. There was no clear law of succession, and so there were fights among the Mauryans for the position of the king. B.
Ashoka's policy of Dharam Vijay instead of Digvijay led to the weakening of martial spirit, and soon foreign invaders cut the roots of the once mighty Mauryan Empire.